You're now listening to the motherfucking Big Shot Podcast.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
We live.
Metro.
What's the word, gang?
What's good, gangy?
How we doing?
Hey.
Yo, it's too many nights without playoff basketball,
Yes, sir.
but we back.
Yes, sir. We back.
I'm not gonna lie.
Let's go. The city popping.
It's a parade in my city, yeah.
It's a parade inside my city, yeah. It's lit right now, bro. Come on. It's a parade inside my... Yo, Madison Square Garden about to be booming.
Nah, no cap. Hold on, let me turn you down a little bit. You sound like Funk Flex right now. You're going blood right now. You're going crazy.
That's why I lowered. So I wanted you to lower my shit on the headphone. I can't. Yo, this shit crazy, bro.
Yo, welcome one, welcome all.
Like, yeah, well, let's get it popping, yo. Let's get right into it. That's
Yes,
playoff basketball is upon us, Danny.
Indeed.
Shit done got serious.
Let me chill. That might shake the blood.
I'm gonna shake the room. I'm
Yo.
gonna shake the room. Shake it.
It's a lot of possibilities. Anything is possible right now. That's the most parity I've seen in a playoff series, arguably in the last 10 years. Let's talk to us. What's the word?
Bro, you seeing? Yo, the Thunder got a playing spot.
The fucking
Shai
Thunder got a
Gilgeous
playoff spot.
Alexander gonna play. This is the first real playoff intensity game he got as a member of the Thunder right now.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to him, man.
He gonna make it count.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if that means they're gonna win, but he gonna make it count.
Well, that's a game that he gonna be on ESPN, and the world get to see what that kid is about, bro. Like, it's really about to go crazy. Like,
That's a fact. 'Cause
like-
clearly the Mavs don't want to be there.
don't even get me started. Like, yo, bro, like, there's tanking, and there's whatever the fuck they just did.
No cap.
Like, bro, them boys is like, you know what? Like, we know we have a chance to go to the play-in, and we know we might have a chance to come out of the play-in, but nah. No, nah, I don't really feel like it.
Nah, they don't.
Like, it's over, man. Like,
It's like when you're, because right now the NBA about to find them. Somehow, someway. They're about to
Bro.
penalize them.
bro, we're just another day closer to Luka Doncic wearing the Knicks
It's
uniform.
like when you say you can't go to school because you're feeling sick and you get home and your mom found out you was bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit facts, like.
Yo, ¿tú quieres una galleta? Busca la correa,
Yo,
güey.
you know, my older cousin used to do that.
He used to finesse.
My older cousin, when he was in school, he used to play sick to come home early to watch Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. He can work for the Dallas Mavericks. Apparently. Your cousin, pretty good candidate.
Yo, that shit is crazy, but like, you tell me where you want to go. These playing games is spicy. I'll tell you that. These playing games is spicy.
I think they're all going to be close games.
Think so?
Some might be more for the basketball purists than others. But either way, we got good comp. It's going to be a great playoffs.
Yeah.
What's up with the A-Town down?
Oh, yeah.
They started at the crib. And
The Atlanta Pigeons?
That's OD. If you would have told me it would have been in the playoffs, play-ins at the end of the year, rather, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have thought that backcourt was heavy. I thought that shit would have been a little. I thought they would have placed a little higher. But what's the word? What are you looking at with that game?
I mean, Atlanta got Miami. To be honest, the way that these two teams match up, one team is really good on offense, the other team is really good on defense. That's just the best way to explain it. Like, you know, if you're looking at the statistics here, like, the Hawks are third in the league in points per game. Third in NBA in points per game, averaging $118. The Miami Heat are dead last. You feel me? They're dead last in scoring. They're dead last in scoring. You look
now, is that pace or is that total?
Now, this is total. Miami's averaging 109.5 points per game. That's dead last in the NBA.
Wow. Word.
You know, so it's one team is really good on offense, the other team is really good on defense. If you look at their offensive ratings, Atlanta is, what is it right here? I got a 7th in the NBA in offensive rating. They're the 7th most efficient team on offense. For the people who don't know what like net rating is.
And they force turnovers. Like,
you know, they
play defense when they want to.
They're, you know, although like Atlanta doesn't really play like straight up defense because they're not gonna blow you away with like how many steals and blocks they have, but like they do got guys that are capable of playing defense. Whether if it's DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter's always gonna have. He has the size to guard wing players like Clint Capella, Double O. Like they got players there who can play defense, even though as a team. And yes, this is gonna happen to you when Trae Young is a player on your team. Whatever it is you get from him on offense, he's gonna give it right back on defense. But Atlanta got some guys that are very capable. Miami is a different story. They can play defense, 1 through 5. They like you see how Atlanta has players who can play defense. Miami has players who have no ability to play defense, but they play such a team brand of basketball on defense, it doesn't matter.
They have such a rugged style of play, it makes up for it.
And it makes up for Bam Adebayo is a big key. So is Jimmy Butler.
So is Kyle.
Exactly. The ability for Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo to guard outside of their positions is what makes that defense click. Because Bam can guard a guard.
I see what you mean.
Jimmy can guard bigs.
DeJounte can guard wings, though.
DeJounte can guard wings, but I can't ask Clint Capella to hang outside. I can't ask Double O to hang outside. DeAndre Hunter can guard players that are bigger than him. You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue. Miami literally has people who can guard multiple positions, and their star players can guard multiple positions, and their star players are their best defenders.
So the Heat won the season matchup this year.
I just don't know how. I don't really like this matchup too much for Atlanta because I like the chances that the Heat are going to slow them down and not let them just walk into 130 points. You know, I think they're going to like slow the game down.
The thing is, when the playoffs come through, Jimmy Butler's a different breed.
Different animal.
He earns every bit of 93 overall 2K gives him in the playoffs.
And Atlanta doesn't have an answer for Jimmy Butler. They don't have nobody that they can throw at Jimmy Butler to legitimately slow him down. Murray's too skinny. For 48 minutes, and listen, watch Jimmy Butler play basketball. That guy, not only does he fish for the foul, like
his whole entire game is based on contact.
Like it's his entire game is based on contact. Like you're gonna touch him. He's gonna force you to touch him.
Whether you're in the post, whether he's driving,
and he knows how to draw. He knows how to put himself in a position to get the contact to finish through the contact. So. Like, Atlanta doesn't have a dude that can seriously hold up with him for 48 minutes. And I think that Bam, to me, is more of a difference maker than Atlanta's big men. Although, if Bam is not on his P's and Q's, Clint Capella's going to have a big game.
Or equally as good game as Bam, and then it's a great game. Because
if Bam is not on his P's and Q's, Clint Capella will go off.
That's mad funny that you say that. Like, hearing that conversation, hearing that being said, it's just like, yo, you're dead ass right, though.
Bam don't take Clint Capella lightly, is all I got to say for Bam.
Yeah.
You know, play him and respect him, because if you don't, that kid can easily end up with 15 points and 20 rebounds.
If there was ever a time for DeJounte Murray to win over the hearts of Atlanta fans,
it'll be now.
But
here's the problem with him. He's not a go-to scorer. He's not a guy.
Hasn't proven to be yet, no.
Great performer in San Antonio, like, you know, averaging close to triple-double and shit, but, like, he does not scream go-to scorer. So Atlanta's go-to scorers is Trae Young and Bogdanovich.
I was going to say, he needs to be able to take some of that pressure off Trae at the least.
He will have to get hot from three. He's not the strongest three-point shooter. He has to just get in his bag in the mid range and at the cup.
He has to make like Gabe Vincent and Max Strus and them look like peons.
Yes. And do I think he will?
That's another story. Which one of these two teams do you think actually has a chance to beat Boston?
Miami.
I was gonna say Jimmy gets on his bullshit against Atlanta, wins a tough game on the road. Now you go into a series with Miami where he's fake had their number. This not that it's a toss-up. Boston's a great team. They're the number 2 seed for a reason. I don't know. I see that ending in 6.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Boston, if any of those two teams had a chance to beat Boston, it would be Miami. I think Miami's getting smoked by Boston.
In 5 or 4.
It's probably a gentleman's sweep. But Boston they're just the better team. Like Miami, you can run through whatever Miami does well, so does Boston. And whatever Miami doesn't,
whatever you can do, I can
exactly.
do better.
Whatever Miami's not good at, Boston's elite at. You see this 109 points per game they score. Boston,
It's laughable.
It's laughable to Boston. It's laughable.
Bet.
So I don't see they don't have no shot. If they facing Atlanta's getting swept. No gentleman sweep. They gone in 4.
Speaking of laughable, Pelicans Thunder.
Who would have ever thought that is a
Who
playing
would have
game?
ever thought that's a playing game?
Who would have ever fucking thought? Shout out to the Thunder.
Yeah, when I told you some of these series would be more for the basketball purists of sorts,
That one's
this is what I was
definitely
talking about,
'Cause
America.
You had it's not every day that you get to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Brandon Ingram on national television.
Yeah, so you pretty much got C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and Jose Alvarado. Is GTA healthy?
I think he's healthy. Yeah.
He got to be healthy for the playoffs. Shout out BK.
I think he's
Shout out
healthy.
New York.
Yeah. If that's gonna be an interesting series. Honestly, there's no Zion Williamson, so this is honestly probably gonna be a competitive game. Brandon Ingram's been playing out his mind these last.
So they have to face a rugged and scrappy OKC team.
Yeah.
Who didn't finish more than 2-3 games apart from New Orleans in the standings. That's why they're even playing each other.
Yeah.
What's OKC got to do besides secure home court to win this game? Because I think they're at home. Shea has to go for 40, in my opinion.
No, on the Thunder are the 10th seed. The Pelicans are the 9th seed, so they get to host that game. The Thunder win this game with an SGA masterclass. That's the only way they're gonna win.
On whom? Who's guarding him in this game? Neil Alexander Walker, CJ. Who's guarding it? Doesn't matter.
It's food all the way. Trey Murphy's probably a good defender they could use. But anybody else is just really food for SGA, and they don't got nobody that's gonna guard them for 48 minutes. So it's just OKC's gonna need him to perform.
You think it's New Orleans' game to lose?
Yeah. New Orleans is the better team even without Zion Williamson. They're the ones with the more experience. Brandon Ingram, let's just put it like this. You can argue that Brandon Ingram is the best player on the floor. SGA is second. McCollum's third. And the rest of the Pelicans are going to complete the list. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Get to
until you literally just run out of Pelicans players to say. You know what I'm saying? So, OKC, well, let me not even say that. Let me put some more Josh Giddey is a good player.
Josh Giddey's in there.
Giddey's a good player. Jalen Williams.
One of the Jalen Williams. One of them.
Jalen Williams. He really good player. So let me not even do that.
Michael Scala's doing his thing.
Let me not even do that. But all the experience is on the Pelicans. CJ McCollum them dropped 30 in game 7s. He's been here, done that. You know what I'm saying? So, and Brandon Ingram has played well in playoff series. So
we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to what that could mean, right? So I'm gonna just say, if you could put a pin in that and not forget that.
All right.
Chicago against Toronto.
Chicago.
DeMar DeRozan playing against the team that I'm not gonna say made him, the team that he glue up with, had to glow up with. It's gonna be in Toronto. Tough, scrappy game. These teams finish one game apart in the standings. Who you got?
Toronto.
Why? They're at home. I'm loading.
I'm gonna go with Toronto. I'm gonna go with Toronto.
It's tough.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Toronto. I think. Damn, son.
You want to hear the season series?
What's their season series?
They played 3 times. The Raptors won, taking 2 out of the 3.
Oh man. You know what?
Fred VanVleet had 30, 5 threes made, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds in one of the games.
Chicago's winning this game.
Book it.
Chicago's winning this game. They have the better players on the floor. I believe they have the. Oh man, do they really? Chicago was surprisingly good on defense this year.
Yeah.
They were surprisingly good on defense
Without Lonzo.
and they have the better scorers. Feel me?
But
Toronto do got a better bench. And Toronto hosting the game.
the six is gonna be turned. It's gonna be a Zuvi up there.
Oh man, who do I?
Drake
really
is
have in this
courtside.
game? Drake, he better be there.
I mean, it's either him or the mascot.
If
One of
he's,
them gonna be there.
I'm not gonna. If he's there, they winning the game. I don't think they'll lose to Chicago with him there. If he's there, he's winning the game. Oh, but I think Chicago's going to spoil it, bro. Like they were surprisingly good on defense. They have the better two perimeter scorers by a wide margin too. DeRozan and Levine are the best, are arguably the best scorers on the floor, and they play for the same team. But I do think Toronto plays a better brand of
team basketball. Bro, because Pascal's going to give you 25. Fred VanVleet,
that's what I'm saying.
If Fred VanVleet shows up, he's wilding.
If Frederico shows up, this shit is over. Like, if Frederico shows up, this shit is over.
And OG Anunoby has something to say about DeMar DeRozan.
God, is he even fucking healthy? That kid is never fucking healthy, bro.
I don't know.
You know, I got Toronto.
You sure? You sure, bro? Shout out to all Anunoby. End of the season averaging 17 and 5.
I got Toronto. That's it. Look. Sorry, camera. I got Toronto.
With Jakob Poeltl?
Oh, my God.
You're
right. I got Chicago, bro. I got Chicago.
Jakob Poeltl's in Toronto. Nah, that's crazy.
Nah. Signed, sealed, and delivered. I got it. I think Toronto's going to win this game. Yeah.
Vucevic ain't got nothing to say about that?
Oh, my God. He's played so well, too, to end the season. Bro, I got Toronto. I was
going to say I got Chicago. I was supposed to be weak. All right. Yo, that's dope footy. All right, bro. Let's go back to the West Side a little bit. You got Jared Vanderbilt, D-Lo, and Malik Beasley looking for revenge.
Oh, man. It's really
against Minnesota.
Listen, if anybody wants to pick an upset.
What? You about to say what I think you about to say, bro?
No. Listen, if anybody that's on the FanDuel that wants to pick, they wants to get their money, that's on the DraftKings, and you want to get a little, you want to get a little froggy. You feel me? And you think, yo, what? You think one of these big teams and you want to leap?
Take a leap.
You would. This is the series. This is the playing game to do it.
Really?
Yes.
With Gobert suspended.
Yes, they play better without Gobert.
I mean,
they
who
don't
doesn't?
Need, like,
but let me stop.
Like, they play. Listen, this might the only reason why Minnesota should be mad about this whole Rudy Gobert situation was the fact that situation led to Jaden McDaniels breaking his hands because he punched the wall. He went full blown Amari.
I was gonna say
he went full blown Amari. So that's one less dude that can guard LeBron James for you.
Right.
But
right.
Anthony Edwards is a fucking beast.
Oh, they still got him. I forgot about that guy.
And listen, Cat
is healthy again.
Is healthy.
Somewhat.
Cat, he's not scared of Anthony Davis. If you look at their career head-to-heads, he cooks Anthony Davis. He likes seeing Anthony Davis for whatever reason.
Mike Conley's going to give D'Angelo Russell a solid game.
Conley's going to be playing in a much more open floor because Gobert's just not chilling down there.
He can run around, do whatever you want.
He can run around in the screen and roll. Yeah. You could 5 out if you want to.
Yep.
If there's anybody that could pull an upset, it'll be Minnesota. The real question is, do I think it's going to be Minnesota? And I don't think so.
In LA.
I got it.
In CryptoCom.
I got LA. Yeah. LeBron's not losing to them. Sorry. He's not. If LeBron loses this playing game, wait a minute. Maybe the NBA script has LeBron losing this game to win the 8-9 to play Denver and take Denver out in the first round.
I ain't gonna lie. If they wrote that,
bro,
it's movie.
Does that sound fishy to you? Like, they'll drop the game against Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota becomes a 7th seed. We get a rematch of Minnesota and Memphis.
Yes.
The Lakers.
A rematch of the play-in from 2 years ago. Or first round.
That was the first round.
Right.
And then LA wins versus the winner of 9. They win the
and you can say, I'm the real MVP.
LeBron faces Jokic in the first round. They beat the Nuggets.
Yep. And then go in and face KD in the second round.
And then beat KD. Do I think the NBA script is real, though? That's the real question.
I mean, that's if you want to go ahead into like another dimension. We might see this shit unfold and be laughing our ass off. Like,
listen,
yo.
All right. I think LA.
Pack your bags. You're going viral if this shit actually happens.
I think LA is gonna win the game.
The first game against Minnesota.
I don't think they're gonna waste their time with
the small stones, small stepping stones.
They're gonna beat Minnesota and they're gonna get ready for Memphis. That's what I think.
Right.
If the latter happens, we have to shoot another episode right then and there. This shit is crazy.
Who do you think the Lakers have a better chance against?
They have a better chance against Denver, of course, but I think they could beat Memphis too. Like,
what will it take for them to beat Minnesota besides a dominant LeBron game? Because if they lose, they're playing New Orleans for their lives, assuming New Orleans beats OKC.
And they'll kill New Orleans. I'm not really worried about that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not really worried. I'm not worried about LeBron in this playing. Like,
Zero Dark 30 mode is activated.
Like, I don't even think he needed to do all that. It's just these teams in the playing, bro. The other 3 teams in the playing don't have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Like, the Lakers could face every single one of the 3 teams in the playing, and they have the best 2 players on the floor.
Yeah, in every game.
In every game. If you really put it in perspective, Danny, they go and play Denver, let's say. Jokic is the best player on the floor, right? We can agree on that, right?
Right.
To some degree. I know niggas be like on some playoff LeBron and shit like that. I get it.
I mean, he's in talks for his 3rd MVP in a row.
Yeah, so like Jokic is the best player on the floor, and then it would be LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me? Like, you put him against Memphis. Ja Morant better than LeBron James to you?
Not yet.
So that means the Lakers have the best player on the floor.
True.
And the Memphis is the 2nd seed. And believe me, LeBron James' sidekick is way better than Memphis' sidekick. That's all I'm going to say. Like, Davis is better than JJJ by a mile. Like,
facts.
So,
and is Steven Adams out?
Adams is out.
The whole playoffs?
Just about.
Oh, man.
He has a knee injury that he's dealing with. And
Bad break.
Bad break. So, I really do. I'm not worried about LA in this playing at all. I got LA in whatever amount of games they need to take. But I think they're going to win against Minnesota and just deal with Memphis.
It's looking tough, bro.
That's a fact.
It's gonna be a great first round. You think he's gonna be a starter for the first playing? Bron is?
Say it again?
You think he's gonna be the star of the playing?
Yeah. Bron is putting his
for real though. Biggest chance for an upset.
The big
East or West.
The biggest chance for upset, honestly, I really do think is the Timberwolves, only because of the opponent. I don't think there's no other playing game has upset. You know what I mean? I mean, the Thunder. The Thunder are literally under 500.
You're saying they don't have upset written on those games because they're not a wide discrepancy of competition?
I don't think, to be honest with you, the Thunder play a brand of basketball. It's not the prettiest, bro, but they play hard. If you were to tell me, the Thunder beat the Pelicans in the playing game, I wouldn't be so shocked. I really wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But if you tell me Minnesota deadass clutched up and beat LeBron and Davis, bro, I'll be in shock. In shock. Because I just don't see LeBron losing this game. I don't.
I see what you mean.
For me, like, that's just what it is.
Anything else you want to tell the people to look out for before we head to halftime?
Honestly, just really watch. Like, honestly, like, if you a person that really wants to watch, like, quality basketball players that don't really get too much recognition, like, really watch New Orleans versus the Thunder. Because SGA versus Brandon Ingram is really going to be, I feel like it's really going to be a goodie.
I think that Toronto-Chicago game, too, is going to be a goodie.
Toronto and Chicago, because I think they really match well against each other. And it's really going to be like a challenge of X's and O's because, you know, Toronto doesn't really run anything sexy. You know, all the brand name is on Chicago. Chicago got all the brand name, but they're really good. Feel me? So, and
how
again,
good can they be?
like Chicago was really good on defense last year. That nobody would have known. Like nobody would have known that this year. Like how good they was on defense because nobody talked about it. So those are my things to watch.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
It's gonna be a great couple of first games of the playoffs.
Yeah, we gonna touch on the first round after this. Let's get it.
We'll be back. Halftime.
Let's go. It's me, yo.
Ric Flair, go woo in the play-in. Go woo in the play-in. Woo in the play-in. Shoot. Second half. Let's get it. Let's get it.
You know, this song was the first time ever in my life I ever heard the term no cap.
No cap.
No, put up. Not go put it up. Pull up. Put it up.
I ain't gonna lie.
Hands to the rack.
For those teams that know where they're gonna be come next week,
Yes, sir.
they got a lot of preparing to do.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
We could see some upsets. Honestly, it's up in the air. It's up in the air for almost a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I can see some disagreement.
I see some real good series.
Right.
I see some good
A lot of
series.
competition.
I think that most of these series are gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of parity here.
Well, let's keep it tri-state. Let's keep it tri-state for now. We got Philly facing off against Brooklyn. Not the same Brooklyn that started the season.
It's a little change,
However,
some
a
changes.
surprisingly competent team after that trade. What's your call on that?
I love how hard they tried. It's gonna end in round one.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna go put it.
Yeah, it's just Philly. This is just not the good. It's just not a good matchup for Brooklyn at all. Like they just don't have. I don't think they have enough. I don't even think they have enough to win a game. To be honest,
Yeah, it's gonna be
but
nasty.
it's gonna be tough. Look, like Philly won the season series 4-0. They won 4-0. They averaged 121 points per game.
That's heavy.
Head to head. Feel me? Brooklyn is at 110.5 through the 4 games, and they were getting outscored by 11 points. They're getting out-rebounded.
Literally across the board, you name it. It's an L.
Like, they're getting out-rebounded here. Like, what Brooklyn has going on for them is, like, they could play competent defense a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Nets were 8th in points allowed. Feel me? But they were 8th in points allowed. Philly was 3rd in points allowed. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Philly led the NBA in 3-point percentage. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were, as a team, they shot 43% in the head-to-head against Brooklyn from 3.
And they have weapons, bro. So many weapons.
They were Claxton, people. I like Claxton, but Claxton's not going to do anything against Embiid.
Bro, the NBA can't do anything with Embiid
like Embiid is, that boy's on a mission.
He's dominant.
He's trying to win this MVP. Like,
he's trying to win this chip. There's rumblings around the league that if they don't win it this year, there's not much else that can be put around Embiid, most people believe, to put him in that position.
Listen, man,
You got a plethora of scoring wings around a dominant big man with a sharp shooting, distributing point guard.
Look, Philly,
with a decade of playoff
Philly
experience.
is one of the most complete teams in the NBA. They're third in offensive rating. I have it here that they're eighth in defensive rating. They're top 10 team on offense and defense.
Right.
So there's really not much more you could really do. You feel me? This Brooklyn matchup, they're winning this across the board. They're better on offense. They're better on defense. They have the best play. They have the best two players on the court at all times. You feel me? So it's just like Brooklyn is put in a bad spot. Philly just has to take care of business. Now, like in this series, I think an X factor for Brooklyn to compete is
what does compete look like for you?
Make this 6 games.
All right, continue. Their X factor to make it 6 games.
Make it about like 6 games. It would be, Spencer Dinwiddie. Like Spencer Dinwiddie is a guy that he's had some playoff experience. Like he's played in big games. He's a capable scorer. He's capable of taking over a game. He's a good passer. I mean, he was excellent with the ball in his hands this last month of the season. So it's like he knows what he's doing. One of the questions I have in this series, like we get to really see how good Mikal Bridges is, because he's been having 30-piece after 30-piece after 30-piece, and he wasn't doing that in Phoenix. It's not so much a surprise. You give a really good role player some actual
more
run,
Rock.
more, like the Rock more, like you're gonna see what they really do. We get to see how good he really is, and I think if they have both of those things working for them, and Nick Claxton is playing his ass off on defense, maybe they can win 2 games. But I think that, this is just not a good matchup for Brooklyn. So
I think it's going to take, for Brooklyn to win a game, their role players are going to have to, their bench is going to have to, lead the charge. And I don't know if against Philly's bench, such a deep team, they'll be able to do that. It's another situation like you were saying in the first half, everything they can do, Philly can just do better.
Yeah.
So
it basically... and if I'm like my Net fan friends, don't expect Cam Thomas to play. I know he just dropped 40, 50 the other night, but he's not going to play in this game because they're going to need more than just scoring.
He's not going to play in the first round?
He doesn't play. He's not really in their rotation. He only played the other night because Brooklyn, they didn't really have anything to play for. So it's just now.
Why did he fall out of the rotation?
Because all he's worried about is scoring. That's what people have to understand. What Cam Thomas is going through is what Cam Reddish goes through. Cam Thomas, he doesn't play on the Nets because coach is looking at it from a perspective I know you can score, but this is all you do. So do you do what you're best at a rate that's extremely efficient and quick? Because if all you're going to do is score, you have to do it in an efficient manner and in a timely manner. So that's what Net fans don't really understand, is that's why Cam Thomas don't play. It's the same reason why Cam Reddish wasn't playing, because Cam scores, but he doesn't play D.
That Cam didn't score 40 for 3 straight games, though.
That is true. That is true, but it's
But the NBA is more than just about scoring.
NBA is much more than just scoring.
That's tough. That's tough.
You have to do, and if all you're gonna bring to the table is scoring, you have to do it at an efficient rate and in a timely rate. You can't just be a scorer and go 9 for 24 all the time. You can't. If you're just gonna score, then I need 12 for 20, 13 for 20. I need 15 free throws. That's what I need, and that's the difference.
Looking at, would you rather look ahead to the second round of that Eastern Conference or go to the next series on the docket?
You can go to the next series on the docket.
I'm not gonna lie, the next series, Vegas is treating it like it's not as close as we are thinking it's gonna be, and by we I mean me. Talking about the Clippers and Suns. FanDuel and DraftKings have the Suns at a -600, which in gambling terms means they probably about to win this shit, bro. in a very timely fashion. If and I know I sent you the post and we was talking about this in the writers' room. If Clippers get to the second round, fail to win that, this would be Kawhi's 4th straight season with the Clippers without having taken a dribble in the conference finals. If Kevin Durant loses this first round, this would be his 2nd consecutive season with his team getting bounced out in the first round, and it'll be done in both conferences. Nets East, Suns West. Which star has more of their legacy on the line?
Durant, not even close. Niggas don't care about Kawhi no more. Kawhi could dead lose.
When you say niggas don't care about Kawhi,
they don't, bro. He gets hurt too, bro. He's been gone for so long, bro, because of the knee injury and stuff like that. Like, and bro, Kawhi, like, to be honest, bro, have you heard about Kawhi all year? He's had 40-point games.
He was on my fantasy team, so I had to hear about him.
So you had to hear about him.
But for the ones who didn't draft him this year.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Kawhi wasn't really in the news like that. Like, nobody was really talking about Kawhi. Nobody was really talking about the Clippers.
The most I heard about Kawhi was Stephen A. Smith trying to tell everyone to focus on Kawhi and how much he's not playing. And stop letting him, go for that.
Kawhi is macking, bro. Like, that's it. Kawhi got his chips, and he got them clean. Like, people respect Kawhi's chips. People don't. Like,
the last one?
That Toronto one was valid. What was wrong with the Toronto one?
I didn't say no one's wrong with it.
There's
some who might argue
it's a valuable
a healthy
one.
Golden State team.
But we can't talk hypotheticals. He has to beat who's in front of him. And he still beat.
I give it that to you.
Like, he still beat an all-time great point guard to get there.
That's a fact.
Feel me? But that's neither here or there. Like, people respect
in his first year with that team.
True. First and only. He walked in, got him their only chip, and walked out. That's tough.
That's how you walk in, fuck shit up, and leave.
Exactly. That's tough. You know what I'm saying? But Durant, nobody respects his rings. They're not gonna respect this one if he wins it. You feel me? Like, but the thing is,
what the fuck is he playing for?
Like, Durant literally only plays to, like, remind people,
have fun.
Like, to have fun, and also to remind people that he's better than that person at basketball. So that's why he has more at stake, because, like, you don't want
Kevin Durant. If you're hearing this, you're a bully.
Like, you can
bullying the lesser talented players.
You can dock his rings, but the one thing Durant don't play about is if you try to dock his basketball regimen. Like, if you try to dock his like basketball like shit, like, it's crazy.
I felt you.
Like, he's elite. He's always gonna remind you that he's elite. I like Phoenix in this series. Paul George is hurt too. He's gonna miss time in this series. That's not a good sign. Kawhi could use that as an excuse as to why he hasn't dribbled in the conference final as a Clipper.
Hey, man.
But funny thing is,
how many games?
Suns in 4. If Paul George never suits up, Suns in 4. If Paul George suits up, Suns in 5.
I thought he was gonna say if Paul George suits up, Suns in 3.
And I don't think Pandemic P is gonna come out. It was a good matchup though. Clippers actually won the last 2, I think. No.
The Clippers have a lot of quality wins this season, bro.
They do.
And they gave every team in this Western Conference docket, like of the playoffs, a tough run, a game or two at least this year.
You know what I really want to see though out the Clippers though?
Sacramento to triple OT twice.
Like the thing is with the Clippers, what I really want to see is how they're gonna try to game plan versus Phoenix. Like, am I gonna see Nicholas Batum play center to try to midgetate DeAndre Ayton's effectiveness down on the block? I want to see how good Russell Westbrook is gonna do. Russell Westbrook is facing Kevin Durant. That's gonna.
We forgot that's always popcorn.
Exactly. So Russell Westbrook is gonna play hard, but how effective is he gonna be? Is Phoenix gonna treat him the way that every team treats him in the playoffs? You could shoot all those threes all you want. Feel me? We just not gonna let you wreak havoc in the paint. We're gonna let you shoot those mid ranges. I'm interested to see about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for Phoenix, what I want to see, even though I believe they're gonna win this series pretty handedly, what I want to see is how much depth they really have.
From Phoenix.
Do they have enough depth to actually win a championship? You gave up a lot to get Kevin Durant. You gave up Mikal Bridges, and obviously you can see how good he really is. And you gave up Cameron Johnson, and Cameron Johnson can ball. He can shoot.
He's been balling.
He's really one of the most lethal shooters in the NBA. You can never have enough shooting. And I also want to know what they're gonna do if Ty Lue actually plays a lot of Nicholas Batum and forces DeAndre Ayton to come out the paint. That hurt them against Dallas, is the fact that Dallas tortured DeAndre Ayton. What does Ty Lue do if the Clippers... what does Ty Lue do...
If the Clippers try to take a page out of Dallas's book.
What does Monty Williams do...
On the Suns.
On the Suns, if Ty Lue makes that in-game adjustment? Or actually game plans around that. That's what I'm interested in seeing. And obviously, the popcorn that I have here is KD and Book versus PG and Kawhi if PG ends up playing. That's a star-studded duo matchup. How is that going to unfold?
And PG is scheduled to miss game 1 or game 1 or game
As of right now, it looks like he's probably not going to suit up for game 1. I guess they're going to take it a day at a time, but it doesn't really look too good for game 1. To be honest, but either way, I think Phoenix should win this series. I think they're the better team, and at the same time, that's it. The pressure's on them; they cannot lose.
Yeah,
you have Kevin. Can you have Kevin fucking Durant on your team next to All NBA first teamer Devin Booker,
next to Hall of Fame point guard Chris Paul,
and next to a Hall of Fame point guard Chris Paul? So
we're gonna keep it out west. We got the Kings and the Warriors facing off.
Danny,
let's get a siren. Let's get a bullhorn for that real quick. One time.
Don DeMarco.
Bro, it's going to be a fun first-round matchup. I don't know if they're going to light the beam or if they're going to, keep going crazy out in the Bay.
Honestly, Danny, this is going to be my favorite series of the first round.
DraftKings has the Kings at plus 230 underdog.
They're the underdog versus Golden State.
They are the underdog.
That makes sense. Danny, I think the Sacramento Kings are the one team that their style of play, they could play this anywhere. The way that they play basketball, they could take their game on the road. If you ask me who do I think wins a road game first between the Kings and the Warriors, I think the Kings will probably do it.
The Warriors are 9-30 on the road this year.
They're terrible. Now they're healthy now, and Wiggins is back from his personal leave.
But how much do you play Wiggins? Do you give most of the road to Kuminga still?
That boy is good. Andrew Wiggins is gonna play 40 minutes. He's gonna play like he never left. But the thing is that the problem with Sacramento, they don't defend. They don't. Their game is outscoring you.
They score 140 but give up 135 or some shit like that.
Yep. The Sacramento Kings were number 1 in the NBA in points per game, 121.
The overhit all year.
Say it again?
The overhit all year.
Yeah, the overhit all fucking year. They are also the number one offensive rating in the league too. Not only are they number 1 in the league, that's the number 1 number of all time. They have the highest offensive rating in league history. Now, don't dig too much into that because that's just the era we play in now. Like, every team is like...
They're probably going to own that record for about a year, and then somebody else is going to break it.
But it's still impressive. It is still impressive. That's still a high-ass number, and it's still impressive. This is where they turn it around, though, because their defensive rating is 116. That's 24th in the league. They're not really that good.
Bottom half. That's like bottom.
And at the same time, they didn't play the Warriors well this year. They are 1-3 against the Warriors. And the biggest culprit that I see on my stat sheet here is they just couldn't shoot the three. Like, they shot 32.7% from 3 in 4 games against the Warriors. The Warriors don't shoot that. Warriors shot 39%. The name of the game is going to be efficiency, because in these matchups, the Warriors shot 50% from the field, 39% from 3. They scored 120 points per game.
I'm really interested to see what's going to happen matchup-wise. You got Sabonis and Green facing off.
That's the one matchup right there. Sabonis, where I think you could sign, seal, deliver. That's gonna be a win for Sacramento
versus Draymond Green.
Yes, I think Sabonis is gonna get his.
Carve him up.
You'll carve him up. He's too physical. Like Golden State don't have the big men necessary.
They've only played one center all year, like one player. Yeah, that's it.
And Sabonis is gonna eat Looney. Feel me? Like
Looney Tunes.
Like it's over for that. The thing is, this series, whoever plays defense first is the team that's gonna win this series. The team that decides to play defense first. Now,
I think the team that wins on the road first wins.
And the team that wins on the road first is the team that's gonna play the defense to win on the road.
Type shit.
Because Golden State is ridiculous at home.
I agree.
Like
lights out, and especially playoff Warriors.
Yeah, they're lights out at home. They don't lose at home.
The legacy now.
Feel me? So the team that plays defense first is the team that's gonna win this series.
DeAndre versus Steph.
De'Aaron?
My fault. De'Aaron Fox.
You had me. Yeah, I like Steph in this matchup. Although I think that De'Aaron Fox is gonna be okay because the style of offense they play, that he's gonna score. Like he's not. I don't think Fox could fuck up a little bit. You know, he's not the strongest 3-point shooter in the world and shit like that. And he does have to chase around Steph Curry all day. But I think De'Aaron Fox will be fine. What I'm really looking at is Golden State. They have known commodities on the wing.
I was gonna tell you, and I can see how passionate you are about that point, judged by the desk moving.
My fault, force of habit.
Don't laugh when I ask this.
Yeah.
Kevin Huerter or Klay Thompson, who's having a better series?
Klay Thompson's going to have the better series.
I would think so, too. Who's had the better year?
Huerter. I don't think Huerter scored more points per game than Klay Thompson.
No, not at all.
But Huerter, he never went through what Klay went through. The ups and downs. Like, Huerter was very consistent. He was very consistent.
He was very consistent all year. That's a fact.
You know? But Klay Thompson, I think, is going to have the better series.
He's a veteran.
This last month, he just figured, like, sneaky. Klay Thompson led the league in threes this year, 301.
Fucking being injured and shit, too.
He set his career high in three-pointers made in the season.
Most of his buckets were threes.
This year.
Like, I think.
But it was under your nose. Like, you didn't even know. You probably didn't even know until you heard it. Like, he led the league, he led the NBA in three-pointers made, 301. He's carrying that to the playoffs, boys. Like I think he had like 4 games in a row making 5 or more.
Nah, he was wilding.
Yes, that's going into
when
the
he turns it up.
series.
He turns it up.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins the bench matchup? Which I think is very crucial as well.
Golden State.
Golden State wins the bench matchup as well.
Yeah, because Malik Monk is coming off the bench for Sacramento.
Malik Monk, Trey Lyles, Davion Mitchell.
It don't sound that good. it just, like, compared to what Golden State has coming out.
Not even GP2. They actually do have GP2. So they got Jordan Poole, Dante, and Jordan Kuminga. And DiVincenzo.
Kuminga's a good player. Like, Jordan Poole's the best player off either bench. Like, and I'm not even a big fan of Jordan Poole, but it's the truth.
Sidebar, shout out Josh. My man's put me onto this. Steph Curry torches Mike Brown. Whenever Steph Curry plays a team that Mike Brown is coaching, just to ha-ha for shits and giggles, he likes to torch them.
Really?
Look at every time Steph has played a Mike Brown coach team. After coach, like, because remember, Mike Brown was on the coaching staff.
Yeah, facts.
So there's, a little funny rivalries.
Funny coincidence. Like,
funny rivalries.
Like, Mike Brown is so specific of a coach. Like,
yeah. But, and like, he'll do shit like, hit a 3 and then talk your shit to him. Like, yeah.
Okay.
I'm that nigga.
You see,
So, do with that what you will. Feel me? FanDuel, Squallers, and DraftKings.
With that
Chiefs.
being said, I think if Golden State loses in the first round, the window closed. It's done.
One more time for the people at home.
If Golden State loses this playoff series, the window's closed. That's it. It's done. Like it's closed.
Wow.
Because if Sacramento beats them, that means that's another team that just added their name into the Western Conference contender list for real. Like, that's another team that Golden State.
That's another team that's now for real.
That's another team that's dead serious.
Right.
You feel me?
That's facts. What do you think is gonna happen?
Golden State in 7. Golden State in 7.
You think it's gonna go 7?
Yeah.
And that means they win in Sacramento in 7?
Yeah.
That's tough, bro.
Because honestly, like, Sacramento's really good, but man, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's just something about teams when they face Steph Curry, and Steph Curry starts going off, and Klay Thompson starts going off, and Jordan Poole see a baddie on the bench, and he start going off, and they start getting nervous. Like, the Kings never been here before. Bro, the last time Sacramento made the playoffs, De'Aaron Fox was probably like 8.
If that.
Feel me? Like,
he's like our age, which means
Davion Mitchell was probably like 4. Bro. Like,
sheesh.
To be able to have to like honestly, like, Sacramento got to go up 2-0 before they go into the Golden State. You got to be up 2-0.
Yeah.
They got to be up 2-0. If they dead ass telling themselves we're going to win.
They can expect themselves to drop 2 and Golden State.
Yeah, because you might drop 2 and Golden State. I'm not going to cap.
Word.
Golden State in 7, I just think that they have the better role players. I think Klay Thompson is going to scorch from 3. You know, if Sacramento's going to keep up this 3-point shooting, bro, they not beating them. Like, because Golden State not shooting that. You feel me? Like, but at the same time, if Sacramento's going to win, I think Sabonis is, you know, chewing up Golden State alive in the paint. It's a really good matchup. This is my favorite series out of any first round series, and I think it does go the distance. But I have Golden State. They gotta lose for me to finally believe it. Type shit, facts. But if they do lose, time to break up the band, boys. It's over. It's done.
Damn.
Facts.
I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna take it out east. Oh man. Knicks tape, we here, baby. New York Knicks playoffs is underway.
Oh my God, turn me up. Oh my God, turn me up.
It's been a while. Oh man, so happy to be here. But the work is just getting started. Big shot.
Man.
It's
Let's
just
go.
getting started.
Let's go.
New York Knicks stand up.
Oh,
The Knicks finished 47-35. That earns them 5th best in the East. Earns them a day with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who finished 4 games ahead of them.
Yes.
Led by Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks led by All-Star Julius Randle and All-Star snub Jalen Brunson.
Yo, I'm still mad about that. Listen,
Snub, not scrub. You heard?
Kings.
What you jacking, bro? Talk your shit.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up. Like, listen, at the end of the day, I know I said Kings and Warriors is my favorite series. That's because I didn't want to be biased. This series is crazy.
This is blockbuster
like,
TV.
Like, this is a series, like, no funny shit. Like, niggas is gonna punch in this series. Something tells me like these two teams are really gonna punch in this series, bro. Like, back and forth. Like, obviously the Knicks got to hope
you mean haymakers?
I'm talking about
prize fight.
This is gonna be like crazy. Like, no matter what games, how many games it takes, whatever, it don't matter. This is gonna be a hectic one. I'm gonna run it through for you.
Run it through, bro.
I'm gonna run through the tail of the tape here for
I'm
us.
amped up.
You know, feel me?
Charged up.
The New York Knicks, 116 points per game. That's 13th in the NBA. 46 rebounds per game. That's 3rd in the NBA.
Talk about it.
22.9 assists per game. 29th.
Shit like that.
But I'm gonna throw you a caveat. The Knicks don't pass the ball. This is what the assists per game say. They don't pass the ball. They're very selfish. That's what they say, right?
Very slow.
New York has the 4th best offensive rating in league history. That means they're efficient. Extremely efficient, even though they don't pass the ball.
Right.
The Knicks, 6.4 steals per game, 26th. Blocks, 4.10, 24th in the league. 46.98 field goal percentage. That's good for 21st in the league. They allowed 112.8 points per game, good enough for 11th. Their offensive rating was 4th all time. And their defensive rating was 19th in the league. Let's run down the tail of the tape for Cleveland. Cleveland, 112 points per game, 25th in the league. 41 rebounds per game, that's 25th in the league. 24.9 assists per game.
Looking so good, Cleveland.
19th in the league in assists.
Still second half of the league, still bottom half of the league.
Steals per game, 7.12, 16. That's 16th in the league.
Standard.
Blocks per game, 4.68. You would think that with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, that number's a little high, but it wasn't. That's 15th in the league, middle of the pack. Field goal percentage, 48.9. That's good for 5th.
Also a very efficient team.
They allow 106.9 points per game. That is number 1 in the league. They're the best defense on the planet.
I see this on my end as well.
Offensive rating, 115.7. That's good for 7th in the NBA. Defensive rating, 109.9. That is the best defensive rating in basketball. They're the best defense on the planet.
Yeah.
Head-to-head between these two teams. They played 4 games against each other.
Yes, they did.
New York took 3 of them.
We saw all kinds of games this year with them.
The Donovan Mitchell Cavaliers, they took the first game of this series.
Yep.
The Knicks took the latter 3.
Yep.
The Knicks scored 108.8 points per game in this series to Cleveland's 105.3.
Scoring 130 in that last game.
So, yeah. With these numbers right here, 108.8, 105.3, they've played an ugly series. Just the way New York likes it.
Just the way it's going to be.
Just the way New York likes it. Just the way I think this series is going to be. Rebounds. This is the biggest caveat in this series between these two teams. New York averaged 47.3 rebounds per game against Cleveland. To Cleveland's 39. That's a significant difference. Mitchell Robinson, like the rebounds, that's a significant difference. I know that Jared Allen wasn't in. I don't know if it was 1 game or 2 games, but I know he missed some time in this series. But it goes to show how big of an impact Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle are on the boards. They really rebound their asses off, even against those 2 big men in Cleveland. That'll be more so like an X factor. I'll get back into that one. Yeah. New York, like I said, they don't really pass the ball too much. 23 assists per game to Cleveland's 28. Steals 6.3 over to 5 in New York's favor. Surprisingly enough, the Knicks only averaged 3.3 blocks per game against Cleveland to Cleveland's 6. Field goal percentage, 48 for the Knicks, 44.6 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 3-point percentage, 39.2 to 38.7 in favor of the Knicks. The Knicks have been the more efficient team on offense, and they've shown that rebounding is the least of their worries in this series. This is going to be an interesting series because Cleveland does have the best player on the floor. Donovan Mitchell's the best player on the floor.
How healthy is Julius Randle?
That's honestly New York's biggest question because I think there's so many questions. Like, there's so many things that can change in this series based on Julius Randle's health. If Julius Randle is healthy, and I'm not talking about just like
100%,
being a decoy. If he's really good to go, like I'm talking about, he could play like Julius Randle. Cleveland has to readjust their defense because the last game against New York,
he was out.
Randle wasn't playing, and Cleveland changes their defense to the way they like to run it. So Evan Mobley would be at the top of the key, and they could run like a little fake zone type vibe.
Little shadow zone.
Exactly. So he would be at the top of the key, handling all the guards. He's really long as hell. So exactly. And then Jared Allen can just sit down low and defend what's left and rebound the ball. But if Julius Randle's on the court, somebody has to guard Julius Randle. That's probably going to be Evan Mobley.
So you take that safety away.
Somebody's going to have to deal with Mitchell Robinson. That's going to be Jared Allen.
How healthy is Mitchell Robinson?
He should be okay. I haven't heard nothing too crazy about him. And I'm glad to have him back. We didn't have him in the last playoffs.
I'll give you a funny stat. These games, you figure, are going to come down to the wire, right?
Yeah, all of them.
The Cavs were 24-21, top 10, and they were 10. in the league in games that were decided within 5 points or less in the last 5 minutes. Yep. And for games that were more than 5 points out of reach, they were second best in the league with 33 double-digit wins.
Yeah.
Now, however, this was... The Cavs were solid in clutch situations, but that was only because their defense, like we just said. Their offense in clutch situations,
abysmal.
Darius Garland led the charge, not the good kind of like leader of an offense, led the bad lack of offense with 33% shooting in clutch time. And the Cavs as a collective ranked 20th in the league.
I'm going to be honest. Like, style of play is really going to matter. Like, how they able... Darius Garland is an X factor for me in this series for Cleveland. I know what Donovan Mitchell is going to give me.
Yeah.
Cleveland is sorely lacking a secondary scorer. They have it in Garland. But Garland really, in 4 games, I watched every single game. Yeah. Cleveland versus New York.
Yeah.
Garland never stood out in any of these games. Any of them. Any ended games with 20 plus, but it never stood out. It never hurt the Knicks. Like, he was just scoring. Feel me? Mitchell was killing New York. Darius would just score.
I mean, I feel like it's a factor of it's not what you do, but how you do it.
But what you need in these games, you need to feel like you're hurting the other team. Like, Julius
and Donovan
Randle,
does a great job at that.
Like Jalen Brunson hurts the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
Hurts them. Julius Randle hurts them. Like, it's painful to see them score. Feel me? Like, Garland was scoring, I'm like, all right, whatever. It's cool. Garland needs to change that. Garland needs to score and really hurt New York. Really hit back-breaking shots against New York. The type of shots that have all the fans like, fuck, my nigga.
Literally.
That's what he has to do. He's a huge X factor in this series. And also, the biggest X factor for me in this series for Cleveland is the wing play.
Karis LeVert in them?
Yes.
Josh, no, not Okogie. He's already on the Suns.
You mean Isaac Okoro.
Isaac Okoro, yes.
Okoro. Because New York, they have wing players. R.J. Barrett. Between the two teams, R.J. Barrett's the best wing. And
if he decides to show up and play like it's another story.
I'll get into that.
Because, yeah.
I'll get into that.
Facts.
But on Cleveland's end, like, you have the Stevens kid who is really good on defense, not much of an offensive player. You got Karis LeVert, who's good on offense, not much a defender. Okoro just stinks. Chetty Osman is good, a little bit on offense, not really going to guard too much.
I don't know how Yuta Watanabe got better than him in one season.
Anything's possible.
Shout out to hard work and dedication. Shout out to Utah, man.
Like,
you're going to see him first round.
Like, it's just Cleveland has to shore up the wing play because that's their major hole.
But their wing play can play defense. It's about the other end.
Good defenders, but if, again, the less amount of times you score, the less amount
the
of
harder,
points,
more stress it puts on your defense.
Yeah, like, and New York, with every point you leave on the table, New York is going to make you pay for it. Like, New York wants to play a sloppy game.
A messy game.
Like, they want to play this. I understand that the Knicks play fast without Julius Randle. They play a more modern offense when they're running and gunning and shit. But the Knicks brand of basketball is slow, snail's paced, pick up your shorts. We're going to guard you on defense. We're going to lock up. The Knicks don't get blocks. They don't get steals much. They literally try to guard you for 24 seconds.
Deadass.
Like, Tibbs be like, don't reach. Don't try to go after the block.
Just lock up.
Lock up. If he misses, that's you playing good defense. You know? That's how New York wants to play. Slow and steady wins this race. So the more that they force Cleveland to miss, that's just what New York is telling themselves is, that's one less bucket we got to score.
Gangster.
Now, the biggest keys for New York in this series.
Yep.
Honestly, the biggest one, outside of Randall's health, of course, is Mr. R.J. Barrett.
Right.
R.J. Barrett is the key to, in my opinion, whether the team wins this series or not. He didn't have the greatest of seasons.
I think it's time, bro. It's what, year 4?
Year 4, he didn't have the greatest of seasons.
Time,
we didn't really
bro.
see too much of the improvement.
Let's
Fans really, fans would tell you, you know, oh, it's because he's third on the offensive depth chart and stuff like that. It's a lot of reasonings behind him. You know, I'm a huge supporter of the kid, but there's just certain shit that I needed to see this year that I didn't get to see from him, or I didn't see from him. You know. And,
hey, man, I just want to know if he can produce in the big moments when it counts.
And, yeah, now we're here. He's the best wing player on both teams.
He's a great regular season player. We've seen that. This year, he proved that, I will say.
He had a tough playoffs against Atlanta when he first came in, like, you know, but he's better than Isaac Okoro, right?
But this team is better than that Atlanta team.
It is true. I would say this. RJ's better than Isaac Okoro on Isaac Okoro's best day. Isaac Okoro's best day, he's better than R.J. Barrett. I mean, he's not better than R.J. Barrett. Barrett is better than LeVert. Barrett is better than Stevens. LeVert is.
He's been minimized in Cleveland as a 3-and-D player.
If you want to say that, that's fair, because when he was in Brooklyn, he was Brooklyn and Indiana. He was
when he had to, he did.
When he had to, he did. Yes, but I'm only going off. What you've done for me lately. And what have you done for me lately screams that R.J. Barrett is the better player. Fine. I don't make the rules. He's better than Chetty Osman. He's better than Stevens. He's better than all those guys.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them not on defense or not on the defensive end, but overall as a player, he's better.
What are the odds that we're talking about a Knicks second-round matchup? 60-40, 70-30, 50-50. What's the big shot percentage?
It's a coin flip.
It's 50-50, bro.
It's a coin flip. Both teams are pretty good, and I think people slack on how good New York really is. Like,
I'm just afraid that we won't get to see the the Knicks to their fullest capability at full strength without Julius Randle being 100%.
I need him back, man.
If he's in the series 80, 70, 90%.
I'm living with it.
I'm living with it. But me, as someone who's watched the Knicks all season, knows that I'm going to be knowing, like, back in my mind, like, yo, especially if they're losing a close game, like, damn, bro, this could.
If it's a close game, they giving the ball to Jalen Brunson and move out the fucking way. I said, don't let this team start winning playoff games. And don't let Jalen Brunson be the reason why they win in playoff games. Yo. Danny, you want my biased prediction or my, unbiased?
Keep it a stack. This is the Big Shot Show.
You feel me? I'm giving both anyway. My biased opinion is Knicks in 6. It's my biased one. Knicks in 6. Mm-hmm. My unbiased one, my dead-ass one, the one I'm putting on FanDuel.
Dead-ass.
Knicks in 7. Cleveland has the best player on the floor. I'm not going to negate them that. They have the best player on the floor. But New York has a scrappy basketball team, son. And I think this time they smell blood. They really want this one. And Jalen Brunson's going to bring it to us.
It's about to be a nightmare for Cleveland and them boys.
Let's go.
We did it. Episode 9.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Holla through. Danny, it's always a pleasure. Let's get it. Y'all like, comment, subscribe.
Whoa.
Get in the comments. Tell me what you think. Who winning the chip?
Gangster. We right there, New York.
We right here. Knicks in 6, Knicks in 7. Talk to me nice. Bow.
Roll up.
Roll up. Damn.
Right there.
I'm the only one with Reed, bruh.
Damn.